better.
These will do nicely. Return to the sea, and to the clouds rise again.
We have our bait then. What next?
Next, we pay a visit to the Dark Gate to pick some local weed. It'll help disguise our scent. There should be a sprig or two of local weed growing somewhere around here. Look for the golden leaves.
Is this it?
Aye, that's the stuff. Crush the leaves between your fingertips and rub them on your clothes.
If you insist. You could have warned me about the smell.
Like corruption, isn't it? We'll have an honor guard of flies before long. But it'll stop the Givra from noticing us. Its nose will tell it we're nothing but a feast for worms.
Oh, I feel so much better.
We can wash it off afterwards. If there's one good thing about the Givra choosing the ruins for its hunting ground, it's that there's plenty of fresh water nearby.
Where should we lay the bait?
Givers are creatures of habit. Look for some sign of its passing. It's sure to return to the same place sooner or later.
Marking his territory.
Something was. A curl, maybe.
It's over. Tracks. But I assume they're too small to belong to a Givra.
You're right. They're barely big enough to belong to a Givra's breakfast.
A fresh kill.
But not a Givra's. The wounds are too clean, too small.
These look like a predator's tracks. You can clearly make out the claws.
And not just any claws. These belong to a Givra. There's no mistaking them. We'll lay the bait here.
Let's hope our friend is hungry. Still no sign.
Patience, Clive. Hunting's not something you can rush.
Have you stalked these beasts before?
Once. Givras are fast, so the job called for a bearer. But even with my knack, it was a close-run thing.
Not many leaders would take such risks for their people.
Says the man who battled an icon to save a boy he barely knew. It is the way of the moats of water to use what gifts we've been given for the good of all. And I gather it's your way too.
It was Sid, the man whose name I bear. He fought for his people and their future with every fiber of his being. I'm just following in his footsteps. In many ways, you remind me of him.
Me? You're confusing daring with desperation. Quiet. Something's coming. guest has finally arrived.
Shall we greet him?
It'd be rude not to. Don't let it escape.
You weren't exaggerating when you said they were dangerous.
They're forces of nature, all right. And with this one's passing, the river of life has calmed. O roaring torrent, son of storms, may your spirit run free in the open ocean. This flesh I claim, that your gifts might rain down upon us this day, and our river flow in spate once more. Well then, let's return to the village. We must get this tongue to Yamila before it spoils.
Tributary, my lord. Did all proceed as planned?
It did. Here. One Geaver tongue, as promised.
Oh, thank you. I shall add it to the broth at once. By your leave, tributary.
If there is anything else that we can do to help, you need only ask.
No, no. You've already done more for my family than I can ever repay.
Just as you have, Clive, for my family. I only regret that I have nothing to offer you in return but my gratitude.
It's more than enough. Besides, I'm no less grateful to you.
For what?
For welcoming my friends and I into your midst. For showing us how your people live. For reminding me that the world we strive to create, where bearers can live alongside their fellow men in peace and comfort, is no mere fantasy.
I'd hardly call it comfort. Every day is a struggle. Though we do at least struggle together, it's true.
As must we all. I only ask that you remember the cost of using your gifts as a bearer. I know that you feel it's your duty to do whatever you can to help your people. But you have a child to think about now. And Wallis has lost enough.
I shall bear that in mind.
That's all I ask. Oh, and if there is anything else that we can do to help, well, you know.
Thank you. Truly.
This should be the path to Witchdrop. Hungry, Toggle? Here's our welcoming party. Looks like that's the last of them. Now, where's the grave? This must be it.
My lord, thank you for making the path safe again.
XVI. Was that her name?
Yes. Hardly the most fitting tribute for a dominant, is it? A rough-hewn stone with naught but a given name engraved on it. But my ancestors had only been here a matter of weeks when she passed. Every day was a struggle to survive. They had neither the time nor the energy to devote to a more elaborate memorial. Yet they spared what they could to grant her wish, that even in death she might continue to watch over her home.
She lived down there then? In the ruins?
That's right. They were once the living quarters for those who served up in the temple. When the Northern Thanes sent her here to weave her spell, this was where she and her retinue stayed. There were priests, handmaidens, and a knight sworn to shield her from harm. Of course, they were all gone by the time my ancestors arrived, fled or dead in the Western Wars.
All except XVI, who remained till the end. Alone.
Indeed. At least, that is the story as it's been handed down in Haven. But there is an epilogue to the tale. One known only to Lady Shula and myself. Some years after Issei's passing, you see, my grandmother came here to tend the grave, and found a stranger kneeling before it. A knight, dressed head to toe in plate. She asked of him who he was and whence he had come, but received no answer. The only words he spoke were, "Tell me true, whose grave is this?" So she told him of how her people had met and cared for Issei, and how she had died. His only reaction was to stare up at the air of hours in silence. Then he left, never to be seen again.
You said he was wearing plate. Was it black and gold?
Do you know something of him?
When we went up to the Air of Hours to unravel the spell, we were set upon by a shade in the shape of a knight in full plate. It manifested in front of the Vare, and in its ether, I felt Shiva, the witch.
You think this may have been the same man my great-grandmother met? Issei's knight?
I don't know. Maybe. All I can say for sure is it was intent on protecting her creation.
Or perhaps her spirit? What remained of her ether, preserved in the Vare? Perhaps his spirit too became enraveled in her spell, frozen in an eternal vigil.
Till we ended it.
If the shade you fought was Issei's knight, then ending it was the greatest gift you could have given him. Now he can return to the sea, to be with his lady once more. And if his spirit should ever return here to visit her grave, I shall ask his name, that I might carve it in the stone next to hers.
That they might be together. Once and for all.
Thank you, my lord, for reuniting them.
Can't claim I ever had high hopes for you lot, but there's no arguing with how things have turned out. Still not sure we're ready to throw open our gates to any old outsider who happens to come traipsing by. But I'm glad the tributary took a risk on you.
Reckon my steel's just as good as any. I'd like to see another smith do better. What is it you want? A good tide to you.
When you've decided what you want, just let me know. Here you are. May it serve you well. Here you are. Very well.
It is good to have him back.
How are you liking our home? Good tide, Clive.
First the skies, then the crystal.
Yep. What do you want?
Anything else?
Still alive, are you?
Is something the matter, Karen? You seem perturbed.
Do I know? How clever of you to notice. But yes, something's come to my attention, and I'll be damned if I know what to make of it.
Go on.
It's probably quicker if I just show you. Here.
Some sort of crystal. Though, I don't remember seeing one that colour before.
Aye, well, that makes two of us. In all my long years of trading, both over and under the counter, I've never seen anything quite like it. They're calling them dusk crystals, on account of colour.
I see. And they can be used to cast magics.
That they can. Just like their brighter, shinier cousins. Difference is, they don't last as long. After a couple of goes lighting your pipe, they crumble away to nothing. That's how I heard about them. From crystal traders moaning that someone's been flooding the market with dodgy goods. And after asking the right people the right questions, and paying the right price, of course, I managed to get my hands on a sample.
I see why you're perturbed.
I hope. Do you feel that, Clive?
Yes.
All right, lads, that'll do for today. I said that'll do for today.
Yes, Chief. Yes, Chief.
Let's get this lot back to town, fill our purses and then our bellies. What did you two do now?
Please tell us you bought another lantern.
Stay calm, both of you. Who needs a lantern when you've got one of these? All that work for a single spark. Well, there'll be no more sampling the merchandise today.
That sounded close, Chief. Really close. Really, really close.
Now, lads, what am I always telling you? Good things come to those who run.
Wait for us, Chief!
I've never felt a tremor this far inland before.
Me neither. But then, I'd never seen skies like these till a few moons ago, and it's been all change ever since. Come to think of it, the first anyone ever heard of these dust crystals was after you lot came back from the Dominion and brought this bloody weather with you.
Do you think the two things are connected?
Who knows? Could just be that with Drake's tail gone, the black market was running short of the good stuff. The Dominion's mines were the only source of new shards left in Storm after a certain evil outlaw decided to do away with the other mothers. And with the price of decent crystals going through the roof, traders turned to dealing in stuff they'd never have touched before.
The question is, who's selling these crystals and where are they? Wait. This color. They couldn't be from Origin, could they? No, that wouldn't make sense. I saw it form in the sky, and that was long after we returned from the Dominion. But if they didn't come from Origin or any of the other mother crystals, then... does that mean...
that you missed one? Aye. That were my thinking, any road. Another mother crystal we didn't know about.
I'll speak with Joshua. If you're right about this, we need to find it.
And quick, I'd say. On account of which, I'll take this shard over to Tomes for you. Get him to give it a once-over, case it rings any bells.
Right. Thank you.
And I expect you'll be wanting Jill's help with this, too.
Right again. I will. Let me go and find Joshua, and we'll meet you in the shelves. Joshua, we need to talk. Karen's caught wind of something that I don't think we can afford to ignore.
Aye, that is troubling. Not least because the Undying made no mention of these dusk crystals in any of their recent reports.
So they weren't aware of them either?
Perhaps. Or perhaps they merely deemed them unworthy of my attention. Wrongly, I might add, for I am inclined to share Lady Karen's misgivings.
Then we'd better take her advice and consult Harpocrates forthwith.
To the shelves, then. With our combined insight, I'm sure we'll discern something of use, be it no more than a place to start.
Let's hope so.
There you are. I've taken the liberty of telling these two everything I told you.
Thank you, Karen.
It's hard to believe such a lusterless shard could conjure much of anything. And you truly think this came from a mother crystal? One we never knew existed?
Every other shard in the Twins did. Why should these dusk crystals be any different? Dim though they may be.
We know they first appeared on the black market shortly after Ultima Car's primogenesis, darkening the skies. So might the two be connected? Could the spell have created a new mother crystal, perhaps? A replacement for the ones we destroyed?
What do you think, Harpocrates?
I think there may well be a connection. Yet, if we are to believe that the original mother crystals were of Ultima's making, does it seem likely that he would have need of anything so palpably inferior? No. I hazard that it was not Ultima who created these crystals, but humanity. More specifically, our fallen forebears, whose wonders litter the land even now. Legend holds that the fallen challenged the gods in order to win their power, and came tantalizingly close to doing so. It seems only reasonable that they should wish to learn the secrets of the crystals which the gods bestowed upon them.
So they could make their own?
Precisely. You may recall that the tale of the sins of Zemeckis begins with the colloquy of the sages, a council wherein humanity sought to uncover the last secrets of the gods before waging their war to learn what little remained. It is perfectly possible that an understanding of how to craft crystals was among their many achievements.
Among their many achievements, prior to their fall.
Indeed. The same enlightened souls forged great and terrible weapons called the iconoclasts, from which icons derived their name, and turned them against each other in the Magitech War. A pointless conflict which served only to make its victors more confident of their right to supplant the gods on high. And when at last they ventured to do so, the resultant imbalance in the ether is said to have been so great that the skies themselves turned black and began to boil. The first recorded arcade sky, I suspect. Which brings us back to the matter at hand. It is my belief that these shards are the product of a long-slumbering Magitech mother crystal, stirred to life by a similar etheric upheaval to the one which accompanied its creator's fall.
Meaning the land is being bled of ether as we speak, despite all our efforts to the contrary.
Clive, do you remember what Shula told us? That her ancestors had learned of a means to make mother crystals, and that they discovered it in an ancient ruin. Who else but the Fallen could have been responsible?
There's only one way to know for sure. We track down whoever's selling them and find their source. Karen, where did you buy this one?
Down in Port Isolde when I was scratching around for supplies. Since the Imperials buggered off and took the tariffs with them, you can find all sorts of interesting stuff on the docks. Go and have a chat with the mercenaries guarding the gates. Your uncle's got some good lads there. You know when to keep a watchful eye and when to turn a blind one. Oh, and take the crystal with you. Might be your key to the underworld.
Thank you. I will.
Shall we then, brother?
I'm coming too. If there is another mother crystal out there and it's anything like the others, you'll need all the help you can get.
I was hoping you'd say that. One more time then. Together.
Will! Slow down! Not bloody likely!
Fuck me. They're fast on their feet.
What's going on here, I wonder?
What indeed? Let's ask.
Excuse me. Who were those men just now?
Bloody troublemakers, that's who. As soon as I asked them to present their packs for inspection, they turned white as a sheet and legged it. I chased them all away from the gates, but they're swift as hares. Still, at least we kept the bastards out. Don't need their kind stirring up any more strife.
And what manner of strife have they been stirring up, exactly?
Hey? Are you joking? This business with the crystals?
Sorry, we've been away for a while. What's been going on?
All right, I'll humor you. After the paltry rations the Imperials left behind dried up, folks started trading crystals out in the open. We turned a blind eye at first. Lord Byron's orders. Well, he saw it, it weren't right to deny people the one thing they were all clamoring for. Till the dust started turning up, that is. Dusk crystals, they're called. Ill-favoured shards that crack as soon as you look at them. Not that the folk who bought them by the bucket load knew that. And they were baying for blood when they found out. In the end, his lordship had to step in and ban the blasted things. And we've been searching the pack of every trader who's darkened our gates ever since.
I see. And you think the men you were pursuing might have been trading in these dusk crystals?
Why, you're in the market for some. Anyway, I wouldn't rule it out. In fact, I'd put a few gil on it.
We might still be able to catch them.
We might.
If you are heading up that way, you want to keep your sword handy. There's more than dodgy traders plying the roads these days.
Understood. We'll be careful.
If those men were selling dusk crystals, I think it unlikely that they will risk returning to Port Isolde.
Which means this might be our only chance of catching them.
Ready, girl?
Company.
You deserve a rest.
Careful.
Where are they?
Still some distance ahead, I'd wager. They were making a good pace.
All right. Straight home now. There's another one.
Still no sign of those traders, though.
No. I just hope we haven't lost them.
These blimmin' tremors are scaring off all our customers.
The few that weren't scared off by the skies, you mean?
Perhaps one of those merchants has seen something.
Forgive me, but did you happen to see 3 men in robes pass this way?
Yeah, I seen them. Poor bastards.
What do you mean?
A gang of nasty-looking brutes was on their trail.
Caught up with them just up the road. Screaming at them they were. Your crystals or your lives and all that. Only the daft buggers kept their crystals and legged it.
In which direction, out of interest?
Up that way.
Towards the Old Hill docks. If it's help they seek there, they won't find any. But perhaps they might find a place to hide.
Let's hope so. And that we can find them before their pursuers do. Thank you. And please, take care on the road. Come on. They're no good to us dead.
Lead the way, brother.
Turn the whole place upside down if you have to. They're here somewhere.
So the bandits haven't found them either. There's still time.
So, Lord Rosfield sent his sellswords today.
You're right. Let's focus on finding the traitors.
We're not alone.
Hand over those crystals!
Come then.
Stay down! I'll be taking that sword. And stick 'em all. Oi. We got off. Who the fuck are you?
Someone died.
Don't think I can go on. Chief, maybe. I'll reach. This should be far enough. Chief? They've found us. It's getting so a man can't even catch his fucking breath.
Gentlemen, a word. We understand you've been selling some crystals.
And like I told your thieving mates, you're not fucking getting them. So you can take your massive sword and shove it.
I'm sure I could, but we're not thieves.
Over here. I can smell the one who shat himself.
If you've got a plan, Chief.
Tell us you've got a plan.
Of course I've got a bloody plan. Good things and all that. Let's start again, shall we? You say you're interested in the crystal trade?
Not exactly. In actual fact, we were hoping to talk about this.
Is that all? Well, then I know just how to help. If you're after the short shifter, he's over here!
Are you mad?
Slippery little pricks. Clinkers on the ground, quick as you like.
Gentlemen, you've got it all wrong. Do we look like merchants? He's the one you want. Just look at what he's got in his hand.
What? Him?
Wait, I'm not...
Do let us know if you need any more help.
They won't get far, Clive.
No. But they'll wish they had.
I'll carve you like a suckling pig and feed you to your fucking dog!
Kind of you to think of him.
Did you see which way they went?
North. Making for 3 reeds at a guess. After them. If they reach the swamps, we'll never pick up their trail.